What's going on, boys? I am probably making the most valuable video that I have ever made when it comes to personal branding. I took like 2 weeks to actually make this extremely long document that I'm about to go over, and it is crazy valuable. But here's the thing. It's valuable because not do you just build a personal brand. Like, it's not gonna just show you like the A to Z on how to build a personal brand. It shows you on the steps to actually take to start converting your personal brand, even if you don't have a big following, into paying customers / clients in literally 30 days. It doesn't take a lot of time. And as a matter of fact, if you nail down the first few steps, it won't even take you the full 30 days to start seeing the full impact of building out a legitimate personal brand. So I'm done with the intros. I'm just get straight into it. This thing is crazy valuable. You're gonna love it. All right, so hopping like right off into my computer, like you guys get the bold headline, right? I'm going to show you how to build an amazing personal brand in literally 30 days. Everybody knows that like they need to build a personal brand, but nobody does it. A lot of the reasons they say that is because they say it takes too much time. So this video is specifically for you guys. I'm going to show you how to make a personal brand that gets you more leads in 30 days, probably less than that. So like typically it takes years to build a legitimate personal brand. Think Gary Vee, think Alex Hormozi, think Aman Ghazi. Like, these guys spent years building a legitimate personal brand. I'm going to show you how to circumvent that process and get invited into rooms that you never have been invited before, get more people who actually want to get on calls, buying your service from you, and most importantly, do the things that actually matter, like making you credible in your industry to start making more money. And it's not going to take a year. But at the same time, there are really no shortcuts. Time is the single most important thing when it comes to building a personal brand. And the more time spent, the more legitimate your brand can be. So there will be no shortcuts in this video. The only thing that it will do is show you how to skip the initial steps in order to start like actually milking the cow, so to speak, to start reaping benefits from building a personal brand, so you can skip a lot of the beginner steps. So let's just get right into it. You have to understand, before I can like fully jump into the strategy, something I like to call content mediums, right? So like what content mediums are, it's like the medium that we post our content on. Or like the medium that we use like for content, right? So in this case, it's short form video, which is like TikToks, Reels, short, like any video that's under a minute. Some people can say any video that's under 3 minutes. A long form video, usually we aim for that to be like right at 10 minutes videos. So think like YouTube. You can post those just about anywhere though. Text-based content, think specifically Twitter, like our LinkedIn articles, things that are 100% text-based. No real editing is needed, just text. And then graphic content, think like a post on Instagram or a post on LinkedIn that's actually a graphic, like a 1080 by 1080 graphic, not a video, not just text, kind of like a little bit of both. So those are our 4 content mediums, right? Like whenever we talk about content, we're talking about one of those 4 things. It's extremely important because content, that word is going to come up a lot, and it's always one of those 4 things. So that makes our content methods simple, but now it's like, okay, where do we actually put that content? And this is the equally as important, probably more important, right? Is the big 6 platforms. Here at like my agency, the agency that I've ran before in the past, the e-commerce businesses that I've always had, and literally just my personal brand, we found through all of that testing, like millions upon millions of impressions, that there are 6 platforms that actually matter. Like there are 6 platforms that 100% you need to have a personal brand on. Absolutely no question. When people go to look you up, they're going to one of these 6 platforms. We just don't know which one. So LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and then TikTok. By far the most important. Like when you send out a cold email to somebody, when somebody finds out about you and they want to know more, they're gonna look you up on one of these 6 platforms. You can kind of add Google in here as well. Google My Business is like a service that we offer to our clients, so that when people Google your name, these platforms pop up. But honestly, if you just do these platforms well enough, whenever people Google you, they'll pop up anyway. So those are the only platforms that we'll spend our time on. So those are our mediums. This is where those mediums will go on these 6 platforms. So now that we got that out the way, let's hop into like our actual foundation. So this is what we are going to use to clearly define your personal brand. We're going to use like on those platforms we just talked about through those mediums, but like what that content actually is you. It's these questions right here, because the whole point of the personal brand is not just to be like smiling and like post cool pictures of yourself. Like, we're not going for like lifestyle. We're going for people who actually want to emotionally connect with you. But in order to do that, they have to know who you are. So that's where we talk about what do you do, what do you sell, and how can you help other people. I actually want you to get out a piece of pen and paper, because to circumvent this process, to make it a lot faster, because this first foundational process sometimes takes about a week for you to like almost write out your whole life story and then start figuring out what pieces of your life you want to start putting in onto like on these platforms through these mediums. This is a really, really cool exercise, right? Go and write out, I am the blank guy or girl. So to give you an example, what mine is I am the content guy. Whatever I do, it is always related to content. Every service I sell, every product I offer, like everything that I've ever done in my entire career in some form or fashion has to do with content, whether it's in my past experience with e-commerce, whether it's in the agencies that I've ran, whether it's in this agency offer currently right now, I make content. So you'll see like every piece of my bio change like throughout the years, but that will probably stay the same because I am always doing content. So it might feel like you're putting yourself in the box, because to be honest, you should probably list out like 5 to 10 of these, right? I am the blank guy or girl 10 different times, and then just say like, who are you? What do you do? Especially if you're coming from like square zero, you've never put a personal brand, you've never thought about having a personal brand. It might feel like if you've never had a personal brand, it might feel like you're putting yourself in a box, but like you're not. Like, this is kind of the point, right? Like, you want people to associate you with something. This is that something. The easiest way to get somebody to remember you is so that they attach your name to something that they already understand. People already know and understand what content is. They might not get like, the nuances and all the specifics of it, but they get content enough to know that Cam is the content guy. Click those things together, and whenever they think of content, they think of me. It should be the exact same thing for you in your personal brand. You're not putting yourself in a box as much as you're giving people a reason or a way to remember who you are. So to kind of keep going, it's going to be the structure behind every single post. This step is probably the most important because it's who you want to be, it's who you want to be remembered by. So everything here, from your bio to your profile picture to like your header on Twitter, YouTube, and some of the other platforms, they all revolve around this same thing. A few of the guys who do this extremely well, look up these guys on Twitter. That's where they have like big followings. Instagram and YouTube as well, as a matter of fact. They have big followings everywhere on the internet. Cody Mo Wizard and Wrongs to Right. You can also look at people like Gary Vee, Alex Hormozy, like the big giants, because they do this very, very well as well. Like, you would think for like Gary Vee, he has, 10 million followers, probably 50 across all of his platforms. But honestly, he's known as the guy that does marketing. Alex Hormozy is the guy who gives people beginner advice. Magazi is the guy who shows people how to start and grow their agencies. They're in these boxes, but not really. So the next part is, where should you be spending your time? This is always a very, very, very important question when people are like growing their audience. I just named out 6 platforms. If you're doing these by yourself and you're not working with like an agency like mine, it's going to be nearly impossible for you to post on all 6 of these platforms by yourself. So you need to understand where is your target audience so that you can know which 2 platforms you should spend the most time on. Again, all 6 are extremely important. You need to show up on all 6. If you Google my name on any of the 6 big platforms that matter, I'm going to show up. You're going to see content from me there. But there are 2 specific platforms where my target audience spends the most time. Those specific platforms are where you see me posting the most content and paying the most attention to. So where is your target audience? I made this little helpful graph. Maybe I should zoom in on it a little bit more so you guys can like actually see it. Because it's really, really important to be able to understand where your target audience is. People think differently on different platforms. Depending on your offer, depending on what you're selling, depending on what you want your personal brand to be around, different people think about things differently on these platforms. You need to understand that in order to communicate with them extremely effectively. For me, my target audience spends the most time on Twitter/X, they're doing that weird name change, and YouTube. So whenever you see me posting things, you see me posting things the most on Twitter and YouTube. Also LinkedIn, my target audience is on LinkedIn a lot, but like that's where agency owners, people who run programs, people who do or want the things that I'm selling, that's where they spend the most time. So that's where they are. But understand that was not just some random assumption or something that I had. That is years and months of time spent, and you need to do the same thing, right? Like you don't have to spend that much time. Remember, we're doing this in 30 days. That's what that cheat sheet was there for, so you can kind of skip and speed up this process, but you still need to test to be able to see where is your target audience, because remember, we're not trying to spend a lot of time here, and the biggest thing that you will do waste time on is trying to figure out where your target audience is, because you've been posting the right content on the wrong platform. That's like a big no-no. It's gonna take way too much time. So don't assume. Find out what works, and then find out quickly. How you find out is how are people responding to your content. One, your content could just suck and nobody's responding to it. If you're first getting started and you're not working with the agency that provides content coaching like mine, it probably won't be that great to begin with. But if you don't see anybody engaging with it and you're posting on all big 6 of the platforms, your content just sucks. But I promise, if you just keep posting enough of that content, you're gonna find that on certain platforms, people resonate with your content differently. That's how you know. What's happening, boys? If you're looking to get content shot from your personal brand, shoot me a message on my agency website, or literally just get in my calendar link. Basically, we help brands, whether they be e-commerce or more specifically personal brands, start making more money and generating more leads in their business. We'll use a variety of different content methods to do this, but if you're watching this far in this video, make sure to talk to me, because I promise, if you're doing over about 5K in monthly revenue, I can help you probably double that. So thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll talk later. Peace. So now that we got that out the way, here's the big question. Because everything up until now was like the preface to making content. Like everything up until now was like, okay, what does content look like? Like, how do you actually figure out what content to put together? Like, where do you put the content? What even is content? That's what everything was up until now. Now the big question that we're about to answer is, what should you make content about? Everybody gets stuck on this, and the big goal of this video, like how we actually get this into 30 days, we're probably on about week 2.5 now of you actually doing everything, is not getting stuck on this part. This is actually like, does it not matter the most? Like, especially in the beginning, just put out content. But how do you do content is you should put out content in 3 different content buckets. At least that's what we're gonna call them, right? Credibility, authority, and relatability. We're going to break down each of these 3 in just a second, and this is just a high-level overview. A lot of these things you're going to want to dig deeper into yourself, because each one of them you can build an entire career around. I'm going to talk about all 3 because I enjoy making content in all 3, and honestly, I think it just helps a ton. So content that builds credibility. You actually see me doing this a lot because I sell to agency owners, and that's how agency owners think. They want to see that you're credible. So you'll see things like case studies, notable publications that I've been in, screenshots of successful clients, clients who are succeeding, getting featured on someone else's platform or podcast, anything that just makes you look credible towards other people. And the name of the game here is just simply social proof. Someone else is like backing you based on your content, and that thing literally just works. So the more you can show somebody about the thing of you being good, the better your actual content will be, because that builds credibility. Now, content that builds authority. You see me doing this a lot too, because I just like talking about ads and e-commerce and like branding. Like, this is just my thing. I love to talk about them. So what are hot takes in your industry? What are observations or things that you've been testing? What are some things that you do that works better than what's inside of your traditional target market? all of these things that basically show you as an expert is content that builds authority. It's a good rule of thumb to be pretty unique here because this is probably going to be pretty boring, but the people who want to buy from you, like, they want to see this content the most. So this is not the content that's like gonna make you like this is not the content that's going to get you 1 million followers on your platform. This is the content that's going to get people to actually pay invoices. So you want to spend a lot of time on it, but not too much time. Remember, all three of these is a super big balance. Content that shows you as a person, right? Like, what did you do this weekend? What are some things that you have going on? Like, what are some things that you're doing in your life that people can actually relate to? Everybody in the B2B space is doing everything else. Everybody's doing those two. Nobody spends time showing them as an actual person. And I'm not talking about flexing on like a private jet or something. I'm talking about like, what do you do when you're not working? This one by far has the biggest barrier to entry because you have to actually get up, go live life, and then talk about the life that you experienced. And to be honest, most of the internet bros suck at this part. I like to think I'm pretty good at it. Like, dude, stop working, go experience life. And it helps people see you as not like this guy who's only noticed this one thing. Like, you're actually human. You're actually relatable because people enjoy things that feel known to them, things that feel relatable to them. And when you put this humongous barrier to entry between you and your target audience by only posting authority posts, by only posting things that make you look credible, then like they stop seeing you as a person and more as like this industry leader guy that they're super far away from touching, when in reality you want them to feel like they're right next door to you and they can talk to you and ask you questions like you're just a regular person, because you are. So that's what I love this one specifically. How you actually figure this one out is what life experiences are unique to you. Where did you go hang out this weekend? Like, what city do you live in? Like, literally questions that you would probably ask on a first date. Like, just think about those and make them into pieces of content. So remember, you get to control what's private and what's public. Like, you don't have to post to your kids, but you can talk about why you love the city you live in. Totally up to you. So what we've been doing up until now, you should have about 6 to 9 pieces of content. So that means you should have about 6 to 9 questions at least that you can turn into pieces of content. And before you go like running off trying to make your first viral video or your first tweet thread that looks super duper amazing, understand ideation is much harder than execution. What that means is that it is much, much harder to actually thinking of an idea than it is to execute on that idea once you're in flow. Now we're like in the meat and potatoes. Now it's time for you to start making content. And when you start pushing that content out there in like week 2.5, week 3, depending on how long it took you to actually get to this step, the hard part is not going to be thinking of ideas. You're going to have, there's not going to be executing on ideas. You're going to have 1 million ideas. Picking the idea and executing on it, that's going to be the really, really tough part. So what I do is I give you 1 to 2 really, really good ideas. All you need is 1 to 2 really, really good ideas. And this is the thing that I really only give out to my clients. It's called the Ideal Webflow template. And it's super complicated. It's a crazy breakdown, but it's actually really, really simple. What this shows is that one idea can be broken down into multiple different types of content mediums. So one idea can turn into 1 tweet. Those tweets can be turned into several different graphics. Those different graphics can be turned into different short form videos, which all of those short form videos can compile into 1 long form video. Let's say I have an idea that building a personal brand is the best way to make money in 2023. Well, I talk about that in 4 to 5 different tweets. Personal branding 101 guide, how to personal brand in 2023, why building a personal brand is the best thing that you can do, benefits that my clients receive from building a personal brand, benefits that I receive from building a personal brand. Literally one idea, just turn those into 5 separate tweets. Those 5 separate tweets are then cut down into different graphics. So I show different studies. I show like a quote of me, and like inside of that quote, it's something that I said about why building a personal brand is important, or I just put like the tweet and I like literally just screenshot the tweet and then post it on different platforms. Now all of a sudden you have 3 different graphics still from that same one idea. Now what I do is I like green screen me talking behind one of my tweets, talking about why I think this is important. I go on a video on my card and I talk about why my client built a personal brand, the results he got from it. I make another very, very controversial video and I say making a personal brand if you're selling in B2B business is the best thing that you can do in your business. Now I just have 3 short form videos. All of that can be compiled down into one extremely long form video where I take all of the points I just talked about, put them inside of a 10-minute YouTube video, and boom. That one idea just became like, I don't even know how many that was, 5, 6, 7, 8, 19, 20, like it depends on how far you want to take this thing, but it now becomes this extremely in-depth way of you taking one idea and making it multiple. I usually don't even talk to people about this. Usually I save this for people who actually pay me money, but that's because it's that valuable. One idea can turn into very, very many ideas if you play it right. So now we got one caveat, right? It's gonna be hard to stay consistent. It's gonna be almost ridiculously hard to stay consistent, especially if you're doing it by yourself. If you're doing all the mediums that I just gave you across all of the big 6 platforms that I just told you about, you're gonna have a really, really tough time staying consistent because it's gonna feel like it's so much. That is why I 100% like say you should hire like a content marketing agency, because you want to get this stuff out, you want it to be quality, and you want it to make you money. If you're spending all your time producing content, you probably don't want to be a content creator. You literally just want to make more money. So it's gonna be hard, but let's say like you don't have the budget to hire, you're not looking to hire a content agency, I still want to serve you as well, because what we use is what's called the webhook framework. This one is even more complicated than what we did before, but not so much. Basically, it states that one piece of content can be turned into multiple different pieces of content by posting the exact same piece of content in a different order on a different platform. Let me show you what this means. So let's say you have a short form video. On Monday, you post that short form video on LinkedIn. You take that exact same video, you post it on Tuesday on Instagram. Take that exact same video, you post it on Wednesday on TikTok. Change up the caption a little bit, change up like maybe like the video, like the talking points of the video, like make them look different. But like every single day of the week, you can be posting the same piece of content on a different platform because different people follow you on each platform. Most people think they can't do this because they think they're so important and one person that follows them one place is gonna follow them in every place. That's not the truth. It just doesn't happen. Take one piece of content, spread it out everywhere, and all of a sudden you only need to make 3 short form graphics, 3 short form videos, 3 graphics, and 1 YouTube video every single week. Now you have 7 pieces of content that are going out on every single platform, and you don't have to spend a lot of time growing your personal brand. So content will be hard, but like it won't be impossible. At this point, like you're probably on week 3, approaching week 4 of the 30-day mark. Now you have built a legitimate personal brand. In just under 30 days, if you follow these steps, the only thing you have to do is stay consistent with it. How you start reaping rewards is not by you trying to get a viral video. It's by you directing people to your personal brand. Instantly, your cold emails, your cold calls, everything where someone finds out about you, even your referrals, start performing better. Why do they start performing better? Because now you're not just a robot, some random person sitting behind a computer screen. You are 100% sending people very targeted videos that solve their problem. You're not posting them hoping the algorithm picks them up. You're directing your traffic to these videos that make you an authority figure, that make you credible, or that make people actually care about you as a person. And those things are how you're gonna start making money from your personal brand immediately. We're only trying to have people look at us and say like, this person knows what he's doing. That's it. It's the whole point of this entire strategy. So guys, do this, do it a lot, don't be boring, and you'll make a lot of money. Thanks for watching this video. Peace.